really need right now are some cozy mysteries to get me to Thanksgiving. The biggest mystery in our house right now: who ate all the Halloween candy? Spoiler alert, it was me. Hi, my name is Bea and welcome to my channel, Mama Needs to Read Romance, and read some cozy fall mysteries. Fall is in the air, and I have picked out a perfect crop of cozy fall mysteries that you can sip cider to, enjoy that pumpkin spice latte, wear that cozy sweater, and maybe even celebrate Thanksgiving. Here are 5 books I'm going to be trying out this week. At the end, I will choose my favorite. Welcome to my cozy fall mystery vlog. Let's get ready for some autumn fun. All of these books are on AnyPlay, and 2 are also on Kindle Unlimited. My first potential, book 3 of the Cider Shop Mysteries, The Cider Shop Rules by Julianne Lindsay. Autumn in Blossom Valley means pumpkin patches are ripe with Winona May Montgomery and her Granny Smythe's cider shop is flourishing. But with this season comes a fatal harvest. The fall festival is in full swing. Civil War reenactors from 3 counties are partaking in Blossom Valley's tribute to John Brown. Blue Ridge Mountain foliage is in full bloom. Oh, the Blue Ridge Mountains. I love the Blue Ridge Mountains. And best of all is Jacob Potter's pumpkin farm, where his hay rides, piglet races, pumpkin picking, and corn maze are a time-honored draws for locals and tourists alike. This sounds amazing! That's why it's such a shock when Mr. Potter is found dead, hidden under a tarp in the back of Winnie's pickup truck. This certainly betrays Potter's reputation as the town's most popular citizen. Fortunately, when it comes to solving a murder, no one has a patch on Winnie. Now all eyes are on her to do it. Unfortunately, that includes those of the killer, who will do anything to keep an orchard full of secrets buried. Here's Hannah Swenson, number 1, The Chocolate Chip Cookie Murder. This is by Joanne Fluke. Discover the delicious mystery that started it all. No one cooks up a delectable, suspense-filled mystery quite like Hannah Swenson, Joanne Fluke's dessert-baking, red-haired heroine whose ginger snaps are as tart as her comebacks, and whose penchant for solving crimes one delicious clue at a time has made her a best-selling favorite. And it all began on these pages, with a bakery, a murder, and some suddenly scandalous chocolate chip crunchies. My son is helping me, by the way. He's playing in the backyard while I do this. Featuring a bonus short story and brand new mouth-watering recipes, this limited edition of the very first Hannah Swenson mystery is sure to have readers coming back for seconds. Hannah Swenson already had her hands full trying to dodge her mother's attempts to marry her off while running the Cookie Jar, Lake Eden, Minnesota's most popular bakery. But once Ron LaSalle, the beloved delivery man from the Cozy Cow Dairy, is found murdered behind her bakery with Hannah's famous chocolate chip crunchies scattered around him, her life just can't get any worse. Determined not to let her cookies get a bad reputation, she sets out to track down a killer. Who would have the sheer audacity and the motive to kill the most punctual delivery man Hannah ever had? Topping the list is the high school football coach. What exactly was his wife doing making the rounds with the milkman? Could Max Turner, owner of the Cozy Cow Dairy, have a secret he didn't want to share with his top employee? The more Hannah snoops, the more suspects turn up. Why has Lake Eden's most prominent prodigal son, Benton Woodley, just resurfaced? And what about the mysterious Mr. Harris, who seemed interested in buying the property next to the dairy but then disappeared? We're getting a lot of information here in this summary. This is one murder that's starting to leave a very bad taste in Hannah's mouth. And what about the mysterious Mr. Harris, who seemed interested in buying the property next to the dairy but then disappeared? This is one murder that's starting to leave a very bad taste in Hannah's mouth, and if she doesn't watch her back, Hannah's sweet life may get burnt to a crisp. Filled with healthy sprinkling of humor and a delightful assortment of nuts, Chocolate Chip Cookie Murder serves up a great new mystery series and introduces a delicious down-home sleuth that mystery readers will surely savor for years to come. My next book is book 12 of the Cupcake Bakery Mysteries by Jen McKinley. It's Pumpkin Spice Peril. In the 12th Cupcake Bakery Mystery from the New York Times bestselling author Jen McKinley, the fairy tale Cupcake crew follows the clever crumb trail of a killer who's anything but. Life is all sugar and spice for the fairy tale cake cup bakers. Melanie Cooper is engaged to the delectable Joe DeLaura. Angie Harper and her husband Tate are savoring married life, and the bakery is bustling with happy customers until one of their most valued cupcake connoisseurs ends up dead. Looks like it's got mystery and romance. I am all about this. Local glass artist and cupcake lover Renee Fisher Klein has always suffered from a wide variety of health issues. In an effort to cheer her up, her doting husband Peter brings her a 4-pack of her favorite cupcakes every week. But when the police discover that Renee has been poisoned, there's no sugarcoating the fact that the last things she ate were the bakery's signature pumpkin spice cupcakes. With their lives in bakery at stake, it's up to Mel and Angie to find out who poisoned their artist friend and why before their future is frosted for good. My next offering is book 7 of the Beyond the Page Bookstore Mysteries by Lauren Elliott. This one's called To the Tome of Murder. 3 weeks before Thanksgiving, bookshop owner Addie Grayborn already has a full plate and a killer on her case. Addie's determined to run a seemingly ordinary November in coastal Greybourne Harbor into one for the books. The windows of her shop display carefully curated works by American writers, including a rare selection of traditional holiday recipes from the influential 19th century publication Goodies Ladies Magazine. This looks really interesting. And then there's the town's Civil War era themed cooking and baking competition, with a hefty cash prize and free publicity going to the winning dish. But when she finds her cousin's boyfriend murdered, a stunned Addie reluctantly realizes she may be the only person who can blow the cover off a grisly crime. With so many unanswered questions surrounding the victim's death, Addie must figure out the strange connection between a mysterious vintage briefcase, the disappearance of a first edition copy of Sarah Joseph Sahale's famous nursery rhyme, Mary Had a Little Lamb, and a dangerously well-read culprit. Very different, very intriguing. And for my final offering is book 1 of the Domestic Diva Mystery Series by Krista Davis. It's The Diva Runs Out of Time. I love a good pun. Few can compete with Natasha Smith when it comes to entertaining, but her childhood rival Sophie Winston certainly tries. Natasha may have stolen the spotlight and Sophie's husband, but Sophie is determined to rob her of the prize for the stupendous stuffing shakedown. She just needs the right ingredient. But Sophie's search for the perfect turkey takes up basting when she stumbles across a corpse. And when the police find her name and photo inside the victim's car, Sophie will have to set her trussing aside to solve the murder, or she'll be serving up prison grub. Oh boy, a lot of Thanksgiving fun in this one. Well, I'm really excited about this batch of mysteries. I can't wait to give each of them a try. Come join me on this vlog. We're gonna find out a little bit more about the first chapter as we go through, and then I'll choose my favorite to read and review for you. Let's do it and soak up every moment of this beautiful fall season. I just finished chapter 1 of the Cider Shop Rules, and I found it to be incredibly charming. They are located at the foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains in West Virginia, and the fall foliage is going crazy. It's October, and they're at the pumpkin patch having a good old time, getting things that they need for their orchard slash cider shop. The orchard usually picks up all the festival fun right where the pumpkin patch leaves off in October. So in November and now December as well, thanks to the cider shop, our heroine is going to be extremely busy in the very near future. We find out that she's got a sheriff from previous books, I assume, who she has a crush on, but I love how they said he's more likely to put her in lockup than a lip lock. I thought that was so cute. And then a new guy comes to town and she gives him her number. So there's a new romantic option. So I'm loving the setting. The characters are super fun. And I love the romance element of it too. I'm very charmed by this. The end of the chapter though ends in a death. Farmer Potter, who is the beloved owner of the pumpkin patch, has been found dead in the trunk of our heroine's car. Our heroine, whose name I cannot remember, obviously. Sorry. Anyway, and there was blood dripping down, which is gross, but it's a cozy mystery, so I assume it doesn't get much worse than that. So very interesting first chapter. It's a beautiful late fall day, and I just finished the first chapter of The Chocolate Chip Cookie Murder by Joanne Fluke. We meet a woman who's almost 30. Her mother's pressing her to get married, but she's more excited about the bakery that she owns called The Cookie Jar in Minnesota. It is fall, and the colors of the leaves are gorgeous, but they're already getting ready for winter. We also have one of her right-hand men, Ron LaSalle, who is supposed to look like Tom Cruise. He works for the dairy and delivers to her twice a day. He's always on time, but one day they realize he's not there. And when she goes out to the alley, she finds him in his truck holding a cookie of hers with cookies all around him, but there is a bullet hole in his shirt. So we know the cookies didn't kill him. Had to be the bullet hole. Why would you kill off Tom Cruise? I don't understand. But this looks like a very interesting start to the story. We'll see if this is the one we wind up picking. I just read the first chapter of Pumpkin Spice Peril, and I gotta tell you, didn't really hit for me. Definitely this book is one that you do not want to just jump into in the middle of a series. There's rat-a-tat listings of all these characters I had no context for. They're in a bake shop and everyone's kind of yelling at each other. There's a lot of sniping and griping, and we discover that Angie is very hormonal, and then she starts to throw up, and then other people might throw up. They're talking about how it's so inappropriate because it's in a bake shop. I just didn't find it to be very fun or whimsical at all. Maybe if you really know these characters. The good news is, I guess Angie and her husband have been trying to have a baby for a while, and so we just discovered that yes, she is indeed pregnant as she holds the pregnancy stick while retching into a bucket. It also attempted to be funny multiple times that it didn't really hit me in terms of that it was funny for me, but there you have it. I just read the first chapter of The Diva Runs Out of Time, and I really enjoyed it. I actually used to live in Alexandria, Virginia, and this is set in Old Town Alexandria, so I have context for everything she's talking about. We have a woman who's 44 years old. She is single. Her mother's fat-shaming her, which is so annoying. Her sister, who's almost 40 and has been babied her whole life, still seems pretty petty and self-centered. She's actually watching a television show that our main character cannot stand because this woman in middle school was the nemesis of our heroine. They hated one another. And now, of course, this woman is a Martha Stewart, has her own show and is talking about all the things to do to prepare for Thanksgiving. So now there's all this added pressure on our heroine, whose name, again, I cannot remember. I'm so sorry. There's a lot of talk about getting a man, finding a man, having been divorced. Her sister was divorced twice already. And here's the kicker. Our heroine's husband left her for the nemesis who now has her own show and also was the worst in middle school, apparently. So that's gotta hurt. This woman is just trying to lick her wounds right before Thanksgiving. And beyond that, I don't think there's a whole lot else going on. There's no murders yet, unlike pretty much every other book we've read so far. So kind of funny. Very interesting, good writing. So we shall see if this is the one we go with. I'm hiding out in my daughter's room, as you can see, because they're in my room. So I can't really film in there. They're playing all over the place, so I moved over here. Anyway, I just read the first chapter of To the Tome of Murder by Lauren Elliott. It was good. It's set in New England, and it's set 3 weeks before Thanksgiving, which is exactly where I am today as I'm filming this. So cool. Not New England. We are farther south. It is not nearly as cold as it is up there. They're already dealing with snow. I'm very thankful that in Virginia, we don't have to worry about that. At least where I live. There are places in Virginia where there is snow in November, but we don't really get that. Anyway, our heroine runs a bookshop and has several friends and a cute puppy. One of her friends has her own tea shop next door, which is so fun. And basically, they're just talking about all their plans for Thanksgiving, including the Civil War themed recipes they're going to be working on because of a historical society newsletter, which they're hoping to be featured in. There's also quite a lot of history about Thanksgiving. They're just talking to each other, but I feel like I'm watching one of those videos they showed in school where they're trying to teach you about history, but also making it like a conversation. But I learned a lot about the history of Thanksgiving, which was really interesting. So the very end of the chapter, our heroine gets a phone call that something is wrong, and I have a feeling that someone has died, and she's going to find out. Okay, it's decision time. Let's talk about which book to pick to read and review for you guys. I'm gonna knock out Pumpkin Spice Peril by Jen McKinley. I know I basically already said I was going to do that. It just wasn't hitting for me. I didn't find it particularly funny, and the relationship between the characters wasn't very fun for me. Maybe I'm missing something, having jumped into the series when I did. Another one that didn't feel particularly cozy, despite the fact that it does have a Thanksgiving setting, which coming up on Thanksgiving would be a lot of fun. The Diva runs out of time. I'm not super excited to hear about a woman who has been cheated on and left by her husband for her middle school bully. So I'm gonna go ahead and skip that one too. Let's talk about the other Thanksgiving one while we're at it, To the Tome of Murder. That one sounded very interesting. I had a bit of a hard time connecting with the overall story. Sometimes that just happens. You know, a reader and a writer don't necessarily meet on the same wavelength, and I think that's sort of what happened here. It's very factual, but I don't see myself getting enmeshed in the story, so I'm gonna go ahead and skip that one as well. That leaves us with two: Joanne Fluke's Chocolate Chip Cookie Murder and The Cider Shop Rules. And while both of these sound tremendous, I'm really excited about the possibility of reading both. I think the Cider Shop Rules just ekes out in front a little bit more for me because of the idea of the gorgeous Blue Ridge Mountains, which my heart is just there with them. I don't get to see the Blue Ridge Mountains currently where I live, so I would love to read about them, and I love the prospect of her having potentially 2 different suitors. As a romance reader, I do love that. The Chocolate Chip Cookie Murder does have a strong beginning, and I certainly see myself reading Joanne Fluke in the future. But yes, I'm very excited to read the Cider Shop Rules, and the next time you see me, I will have done so, and I will tell you what I thought. Okay, first of all, a few housekeeping things before we get moving. I mentioned that this is available on AnyPlay, as well as the other 2 books in the series. The first one is a Christmas book, Apple Cider Slang, and the second one is set in June, Pulp Friction. I'm definitely going to be trying both of those. I've looked at her website as well, which I'm showing you a bit here. I have this linked in my description box as well. It just shows all of the incredible cozy mysteries and romantic suspense books that she writes. I mean, this is a lot of fun that I'm definitely wanting to check out because I loved the way that she wrote. I have them linked in my description box along with trigger warnings for the book I just read, which I want to talk to you about right now, The Cider Shop Rules. I gave this book 4.5 stars. I enjoyed it immensely. I loved all the cozy fall feels. We run from Halloween through November to Thanksgiving. It's the perfect book for this time of year, 100%. I really enjoyed the narrator. I thought the romance was really fun between, I think I mentioned 2 different suitors she has, which I really enjoyed. So that was super fun. The mystery was really riveting. I wanted to know what happened. There are some things mentioned that happened in the first 2 books in the series, which I now need to go back and read. They're kind of spoilers for the first 2, I'll just say, but I'm still going to enjoy the first 2 for sure. The food was delicious, by the way. I haven't mentioned the food. Oh my gosh, if you like apples, but then they've mentioned other foods as well, Thanksgiving related, dessert related, super yummy. I just loved it. Let me know if you've read any of these or if there are any other fall cozy mysteries that you would recommend. I'm sure we'd all love to see. I hope you enjoy whatever it is you're reading, whether it's a cozy mystery or not. Until next time, thanks so much. Take care. Bye.